A man rescued a small orphaned bear and took it home, where he cared for and fed it. But something amazing happened after 3 years. Alex, who is 30 years old, used to walk home every evening along the same path that passed near the forest. On that day, he worked until 7 in the evening, so it was already dark. When he was returning home, suddenly, he heard a strange sound coming from the bushes beside the road. The sounds were like a miserable moan, as if someone was in distress and desperately calling for help. Alex headed toward the source of the sound, and he was extremely surprised when he found a small bear near an unfinished building. It looked like it had just been born. The poor thing sat with its legs tucked in, trembling and making loud, scream-like noises. Alex was worried. The mother bear, who could be aggressive, might be nearby, but several minutes passed and the mother bear did not appear. The man realized that the little bear had been left without its mother. Maybe hunters killed her or she got sick. Alex had a kind heart, and he couldn't leave the little bear to face its fate, so he carefully picked it up and took it home. The little bear quickly felt safe and stopped trembling, calming down in the warm jacket. When Alex brought the little bear home, he immediately poured some warm milk into a bowl, added a little sugar, and placed the bowl on the floor. The little bear approached it on all fours and started licking the milk greedily because he was very hungry. It seemed that the little bear had lost his mother a long time ago, and desperation drove him to leave the forest and head toward the city. Alex stroked the bear's soft fur and chose to keep him at home, knowing the helpless bear couldn't survive alone in the wild. The man named his new pet Archie. The little bear quickly adapted to his new home and to his kind owner. Alex had a gentle dog named Estella with kind eyes. At first, Estella was afraid of Archie when the man brought him home for the first time, and she started growling threateningly at the furry animal. But after a few days, the dog realized that Archie was just a helpless little bear, desperately in need of love and motherly care, and it only took a few weeks before the pets started happily running after each other in the yard near the house. Stella would run away, and Archie would chase after her with his funny little legs. Sometimes they would bump into each other while running, and the little bear would fall to the ground, then quickly get up and continue running as if nothing had happened. Alex fed Archie milk every few hours, using a milk bottle with a small spoon. The little bear would drink it eagerly and even lick the empty bottle. Trying to get the last drops out, Archie was growing quickly before their eyes, getting bigger day by day, and soon Alex had to buy him canned food made for adult dogs instead of milk. Of course, Archie devoured it eagerly. The little bear gradually turned into a big, strong beast. When Archie reached 3 months old, he was the size of a large dog, and it became clear that the small house was no longer big enough for him. Toys flew everywhere and furniture was overturned from all the running and playing. Alex realized that he would soon have to release the bear and return him to the forest where he found him. It was a tough decision, as the man had grown attached to Archie like he was part of him. But he knew very well that this would be best for the bear, who was meant to live in freedom and not in a small house. After a few more weeks, Alec loaded Archie, who had grown a lot, into his car and drove him back to the forest, to the thick jungle near the place where he found him. On their way by car, the little bear was restless and moved around on the seat, making a miserable whine. Maybe he felt that his owner was taking him somewhere far away. Finally, they reached the place where the thick jungle grew at the edge of the forest. Alec took the heavy Archie out of the car and placed him on the grass in a small clearing. The man's eyes filled with tears as he hugged his clumsy friend for the last time. It seemed that Archie understood everything, and he let out a sad whine, unwilling to leave the man. At that moment, Alec had to shout loudly, and the little bear stopped hugging and quickly ran toward the forest. He dropped pine cones and branches as he ran, and within seconds he disappeared into the bushes, wagging his short tail. Alec stood watching his strange pet for a long time, wishing he could adapt and survive in the wild. 3 years had passed since Alec set Archie free in the forest. During all this time, the man remembered his clumsy friend and missed him. They had been very close, and now Alec could only wonder what had happened to Archie. In the wild, the man hoped that his big, furry friend could manage on his own. One sunny evening, when Alec came back from work, he heard a strange sound coming from the backyard. Estella, who had been his loyal pet all these years, was barking loudly, and she ran outside through the back door, with Alec following her to find out what was happening. He wasn't expecting any visitors today. Near the house, next to the trash bins, there was a huge brown bear. Standing on its hind legs, staring intently at the man, Alec froze in terror, because bears had never come this close to the city before. The man tried not to move to avoid provoking the huge animal, but it didn't work. As the bear started heading straight toward the man, Alec was about to scream in terror, but at that moment, he suddenly recognized his old friend. It turned out that this huge bear was the same little bear he once picked up, but it had grown into a truly terrifying predator, as Alec recognized. It let out a joyful roar and approached its old friend. The man grew tense because he didn't know what to expect from this huge predator. But Archie had no intention of hurting the man. The beast hugged the man gently with its strong arms, just as it used to do when it was little. Then Archie gently pushed his nose against Alex's chest and began licking his face with his big, rough tongue. When Stella saw this, she started barking louder, but Alex calmed her down with a gesture. Finally, the man realized that the bear did not intend to attack him, but had come especially to greet the good friend who once saved his life. Moved, Alex took all the bear-friendly food from the fridge and gave it to Archie. The bear happily devoured everything, making licking and drinking sounds, and finished it all in half an hour. And he looked at the man with gratitude, while at that moment, Alex saw in Archie not the huge predator of the forest, but a small and friendly bear. Archie nudged his nose toward the man again, then slowly headed toward the forest, while Alex and Stella watched him as he left. Alex was very happy that Archie was able to survive and adapt in the forest, which meant that all his efforts were not in vain. Alex never saw his giant friend in the forest again, but the day of their happy meeting remained engraved in the man's memory forever.